Hello students, hope you are all healthy and staying indoors. Today I am going to start explaining the first chapter of the book Flamingo, the last lesson by Alphonse Daudet. To begin with, let's first understand the background or the settings of the story. It is post-war time, meaning that there had been a war called Franco-Prussian War. This was fought between 4 countries with 3 on one side and 1 on the other. मतलब हम यहाँ पे एक फ्रैंको प्रूशियन वॉर के बाद के समय की बात कर रहे हैं, जहाँ पे एक युद्ध हुआ था 4 देशों के बीच और एक तरफ 3 देश थे और दूसरी तरफ एक. The side with 3 countries comprised of Germany, Poland and Austria, while the other was France. And Germany, Poland and Austria were led by Bismarck. In this war, France lost to the 3 countries, and after the war, a treaty was signed. According to the treaty, France had to bear all the cost of the war and had also to give up 2 districts of its. They are Alsace and Lorraine. This is the background wherein you will find that people are not very happy when they had to part with their districts. They not only had to part with their districts, but you will also see that they also had to get separated from their mother language, as German was imposed on these 2 French-speaking districts, Alsace and Lorraine. Now students, we mainly have 2 characters in this chapter, a young boy named Franz and his French teacher, Mr. M. Hamel. The story begins with the narrator, that is Franz, saying that he was late for school and did not feel like going to the school. The reason mainly was that he was not prepared for a test of participles. He was scared that when he goes to school, the teacher would be asking him questions on participles and he may not be able to answer them because he did not even know the basics of this topic. Moreover, he also did not want to go to the school because the day was very beautiful, sunny, the birds were chirping, and he wanted to enjoy it. Then there was another reason, that he wanted to see the drill being conducted by the Prussian army on the outskirts of the city. But as he was scared of his teacher, he decided to go to the school, because he knew that even if he did not go to the school, next day his teacher would be punishing him for not being present in the class. So he runs to the school, and then while he was going to the school, on the way he came across a huge crowd gathered in front of the bulletin board which was put up by the Germans near the town hall. The bulletin board, students, is actually a notice board that was put up by the Germans so that all rules, regulations and orders or instructions that the people of Alsace and Lorraine had to follow were put up on this board. The people of Alsace and Lorraine did not like this board, as it meant taking away their independence. Franz wants to read whatever was put up on that. He wants to know as to why the crowd has gathered over there. But he still keeps running to the school because he knew he was already very late. And on the way to the school, he makes plans as to how he is going to enter the classroom, because he was quite late and was scared of the punishment that he would be getting. So he thinks that he would take advantage of the chaos or the hustle bustle in the school and enter the classroom through a window. But as he nears the school, he is surprised that there's no noise, no hustle bustle coming from the building. As he nears the gate, he finds that the school is very silent, and he felt that it was as if it was a Sunday. But it was not. When he entered the school, he found there was complete calm and compose in the school. There was no noise. The teachers were teaching their lessons. The students were learning them. There was no rapping of the ruler on the table. And moreover, the students were learning very enthusiastically. When he neared his class, he found that he had no way to get in through the window. So he goes and seeks the permission of the teacher, who lets him in with a big smile. Franz was surprised, as the teacher had not only welcomed him in with a smile but also did not scold him. वो हैरान है कि उसके टीचर ने उसको डांटा नहीं और उसको अंदर आने दिया. ना सिर्फ अंदर आने दिया, बट उन्होंने उसको कोई भी क्वेश्चन भी नहीं पूछा उस पार्टिसिपेंट्स के बारे में. When he had settled down, Franz noticed something different in the class. He found that Mr. M. Hamill was dressed differently that day. M. Hamill ने अलग तरह के कपड़े पहने हुए थे. He was wearing his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt and the little black embroidered silk cap. ये कपड़े वो यूजुअली संडेज़ को पहनते थे या स्कूल में जब कोई फंक्शन होता था तब पहनते थे. He was in his fine Sunday clothes, or the clothes that he usually wore during the functions or inspection days. He also noticed something else. That was that the back benches, which were usually empty, were occupied by the village elders, like the old hawser, the ex-mayor, the old postmaster, and many others. उसने एक और चीज़ नोटिस की कि उस क्लास के आखिरी के बेंचेस जो होते थे हमेशा खाली रहते थे, लेकिन आज उन सब पे गांव के बुजुर्ग बैठे हुए थे. He did not understand the meaning of all this, and what confused him more was that all of them looked very sad. वो सब दुखी लग रहे थे. Then he was in for another surprise when he found toddlers in the class. वो और भी सरप्राइज हो गया जब उसने छोटे छोटे बच्चों को क्लास में देखा. अभी वो सोच ही रहा था इस चीज़ के बारे में कि मिस्टर एम हैमल ने एक अनाउंसमेंट किया. While he was just wondering about the reason for all these changes, he heard Mr. M. Hamill making an announcement. My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. मतलब उन्होंने एक अनाउंसमेंट की जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि वही लास्ट उनका लेसन रहेगा जो उन्होंने उनको पढ़ाना है, क्योंकि अगले दिन से वहाँ पे जर्मन पढ़ाई जाएगी, क्योंकि बर्लिन से ऑर्डर आ चुका था कि अल्सेस और लोरेन डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में अब फ्रेंच को बैन किया जाएगा और जर्मन ही पढ़ाई जाएगी. दिस वॉज लाइक अ थंडरबोल्ट. उसको ऐसे लगा जैसे उसके ऊपर बिजली गिर गई. नाउ ही न्यू वाई देयर वाज सच अ बिग क्राउड इन फ्रंट ऑफ द बुलेटिन बोर्ड एंड वाई द विलेज एल्डर्स हैड गैदर्ड इन द क्लासरूम. अब उसे इस चीज़ का एहसास हुआ कि बुलेटिन बोर्ड के सामने इतनी भीड़ क्यों थी, और ये भी एहसास हुआ कि विलेज के गांव के जो बुज़ुर्ग थे वो क्यों क्लास में बैठे हुए थे. स्टूडेंट्स, जैसे ही उसको ये पता चला या एहसास हुआ कि बुलेटिन बोर्ड के आगे इतनी भीड़ क्यों थी, फ्रांस को बहुत बुरा लगा. फ्रांस वॉज फीलिंग मिजरेबल. ही वॉज वेरी सैड. वो बहुत दुखी था. ही वॉज ऑल्सो वेरी गिल्टी and regretful for not having learnt his mother tongue properly. उसे पछतावा था कि उसने अपनी मातृभाषा को अच्छे से नहीं सीखा. He had always felt that the books were a nuisance. उसे किताबें हमेशा बुरी लगती थीं. And heavy. उसे किताबें हमेशा भारी भी लगती थीं. He found more pleasure in mischiefs like looking for birds' eggs and playing outside. उसे हमेशा से किताबों से ज़्यादा शरारतों में ज़्यादा अच्छा लगता था. He suddenly realized that the books that seemed like enemies had turned into friends. अब आज उसे ये एहसास हो रहा था कि वही किताबें जो हमेशा उसे अपनी दुश्मन लगती थीं, आज उसे वो दोस्तों की तरह लगने लगी हैं। उन्हें पढ़ना उसको आसान लग रहा था। He regretted not having given enough importance to learning his mother tongue. उसे एहसास हो गया और पछतावा हो रहा था कि उसने अपनी मातृभाषा को क्यों अच्छे से नहीं सीखा। French. He always kept postponing the learning of French. उसे हमेशा से एक एहसास रहता था कि बहुत समय है अभी और आगे जाके पढ़ लेंगे, अभी नहीं पढ़ना। He always kept postponing the learning of French language, thinking that he had a lot of time to learn it. He was feeling very bad that day that now he would not be able to see even Mr. M. Hamel again. उसे ना सिर्फ इस चीज़ का पछतावा था कि वो अभी अपनी भाषा नहीं सीख पाएगा, उसे ये भी बुरा लग रहा था कि वो मिस्टर एम हैमल को अभी कभी नहीं देख पाएगा। बेशक उसे ये लगता था कि वो ज़्यादा ही स्ट्रिक्ट थे। In spite of the fact that he felt that Mr. M. Hamel was very strict, he found that he loved this man. It was now that he really understood why the village elders had come to the class. अब उसको ये एहसास हुआ कि वो विलेज के या गांव के जो बुजुर्ग थे वो क्यों आए थे। वो यहाँ पे दो कारणों के कारण आए थे। They had come here for two reasons. One, as a mark of respect to a teacher who had served selflessly in the school for 40 long years. And they had also come there as a mark of respect for their mother language that was being taken away from them. वो यहाँ मिस्टर एम हैमल का धन्यवाद करने आए थे कि वो इतने सालों से वहाँ पढ़ा रहे थे और अपनी मातृभाषा से अलग होने का दुख का भी प्रगटावा करने आए थे। Now let's continue the chapter. When Franz had understood the real motive of the crowd in front of the bulletin board and the presence of the elders in the class, he settled down. And then Mr. M. Hamel got up from his chair and started teaching French on that last day. He described French language as the most beautiful and logical language in the world. Mr. M. Hamel ने फ्रेंच भाषा की परिभाषा देते हुए ये कहा कि ये सबसे सर्वोत्तम भाषा है इस दुनिया में। He wanted the people of Alsace and Lorraine along with the students to safeguard and preserve their mother tongue. वो चाहते थे कि अल्सेस और लोरेन के लोग और स्कूल के बच्चे इस भाषा को यानी कि फ्रेंच को बड़े ही संभाल के रखें। He was very sad that he had not been able to awaken their love for the language. वो बड़े दुखी थे और वो ये मानते थे कि वो खुद भी जिम्मेवार थे कि वो इन बच्चों में और लोगों में अपनी मातृभाषा के प्रति प्यार नहीं जगा सके। He blamed himself for the negligent attitude of the students for not learning the French language. वो बच्चों के ना पढ़ने को अपना दोष मानते थे। He felt that he had unnecessarily declared holidays in the school when he wanted to enjoy fishing with his friends, and he also sent children to water his flower beds when he was in no mood to teach. वो ये मानते थे कि उन्होंने कई बार व्यर्थ में ही बच्चों को छुट्टियां दी थीं जब वो अपने दोस्तों के साथ एंजॉय करना चाहते थे और साथ में जब उनका पढ़ाने का मन नहीं होता था तो वो बच्चों को फूलों को पानी डालने के लिए भेज देते थे। But that day he was teaching so vehemently as if he wanted to give them all the knowledge of French that he had. लेकिन उस दिन वो बड़े ही सीरियस होकर पढ़ा रहे थे, मानो कि वो सारी नॉलेज जो उनके पास थी उस भाषा के बारे में बच्चों को देना चाहते थे। He also blamed the parents for neglecting the studies of the students. उन्होंने बच्चों के अभिभावकों को भी दोषी माना। He said that instead of sending or forcing their children to attend school, the parents sent them to work in the fields or other places so that they could have some extra money coming in to their households. उनका कहना था कि माता पिता ने भी बच्चों को ज़बरदस्ती स्कूल नहीं भेजा तथा उनको दूसरे कामों में भेज देते थे ताकि थोड़े बहुत पैसे उनके घर में आ सकें. He felt that the students were also to be responsible and were to be blamed for their complacent, meaning lazy attitude. वो मानते थे कि बच्चे भी इसके लिए जिम्मेवार थे. They kept postponing learning as they felt that they had ample time to learn the language and now they were at the crossroads. बच्चों को लगता था कि उनके पास इस भाषा को सीखने के लिए बहुत समय है, लेकिन आज वो एक चौराहे पे खड़े हो गए थे. They were French, but those who could not read or write their own language properly. वो फ्रेंच थे, वो फ्रांस के निवासी थे, लेकिन ऐसे निवासी जो अपनी ही मातृभाषा को ना अच्छे से लिखना ना पढ़ना जानते थे. He said that the Germans would laugh at them and mock them for being French and not knowing their language. उन्होंने उनको समझाने की कोशिश की कि जर्मन के लोग उन पे हंसेंगे कि वो फ्रेंच हैं और अपनी ही मातृभाषा को वो नहीं जानते. Mr. M. Hamel did not scold France when he was not able to answer anything about the participles, because he considered himself as responsible for the child not learning French language. Mr. M. Hamel went on to describe in class the importance of having in-depth knowledge of their mother tongue. He spoke passionately and pleaded to everyone to safeguard their language. He told them that if they wished to retain their identity, their freedom, and their culture, they would have to hold on to their mother tongue, as this is their key to independence. Mr. M. Hamel ने फ्रांस को बिल्कुल नहीं डांटा और उन्होंने उस क्लास में मातृभाषा की अहमियत के बारे में बताया. उन्होंने बताया कि हमें इस भाषा को संभाल कर रखना पड़ेगा, संजो के रखना पड़ेगा, अगर हम अपनी आज़ादी, अपनी संस्कृति को बचा के रखना चाहते हैं. As he said that this was the key to their independence. He asserted that enslaved countries could win their freedom only if they hold on to their mother tongue. उन्होंने कहा कि अगर कोई भी देश अपनी मातृभाषा को संजो के रखता है तो कभी भी वो किसी और देश के अधीन नहीं होगा या अपनी आज़ादी को बड़ी आसानी से जीत लेगा. Here students, we can quote the example of India, which won its freedom after nearly around 300 years under the British. This was possible just because the Indians were able to retain their culture, they were able to hold on to their mother tongue, and they had a common language, Hindi, in which they could converse with each other. And then, as Mr. M. Hamel was going on with this teaching, Franz could hear the footsteps of his sister moving about in the house while packing up. और अभी क्लास में मिस्टर एम हैमल पढ़ा रहे थे, तब फ्रांस को उनकी सिस्टर मिस्टर एम हैमल की बहन के फुटस्टेप्स सुनाई दे रहे थे जब वो ऊपर अपने घर में चल रही थी और पैकिंग कर रही थी. उसी समय पर उसने पिजन्स की आवाज़ सुनी, कबूतरों की आवाज़ सुनी, और वो सोचने लगा कि क्या जर्मन्स इनको भी इनकी मातृभाषा से अलग कर देंगे या इनको भी वो जर्मन में बुलाएंगे. He heard pigeons cooing on the terrace and wondered if the Germans would force them to coo in German. The lecture continued. Everyone was listening attentively. Mr. M. Hamel taught everyone, the elders, the toddlers, and the students, according to their age group. Mr. M. Hamel अपनी क्लास को आगे बढ़ाते हुए सभी को पढ़ा रहे थे, चाहे वो बड़े थे, चाहे छोटे थे, चाहे वो स्टूडेंट्स थे. Everyone was very emotional. सारे बहुत भावुक हो गए थे. They wanted to cry and laugh. वो रोना और हंसना दोनों चाहते थे. The teaching learning process was going on very seriously when suddenly the church clock struck 12. क्लास बड़े आराम से बड़ी सीरियसली चल रही थी, तभी वहाँ पे चर्च का जो घंटा था उसने 12 बजा दिए. This marked the end of teaching of French language and the taking over of the Germans. इसका मतलब ये था, इस घंटी का मतलब ये था कि फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज की पढ़ाई वहाँ पे ख़त्म हो चुकी है और जर्मन्स ने उसको टेक ओवर कर लिया था. With the trumpets blowing and drill of the Prussian army, M. Hamel turned to the board and wrote with a heavy heart, "Viva la France," meaning long live France. मिस्टर एम हैमल ने जैसे ही ये आवाज़ सुनी वो बोर्ड की तरफ मुड़े और उन्होंने बड़े ही भावुक होकर उसके ऊपर लिखा वीवा ला फ्रांस, मतलब फ्रांस अमर रहे। After that, he dismissed the class with just a gesture of his hand, as he had become very emotional and he was crying and could not face the students or the elders. इसके साथ ही उन्होंने अपने एक हाथ के इशारे के साथ क्लास को डिसमिस कर दिया और बोर्ड की तरफ ही मुड़ते रहे, क्योंकि वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा इमोशनल थे और वो रो रहे थे और वो किसी का सामना नहीं करना चाहते थे। With this, we come to the end of this chapter. The question answers will be following this. Please see to it that you write the answers to it. And students, please be safe. Please remain indoors as we are passing through a crisis and we need to be together in this. Thank you.